Doing this live. Yes, we are. Alright, today's going to be a fun day. Let's see, it says up and coming. What are you talking about? Should be live now. Alright, today's going to be a fun day. I was going to say, it's not up and coming. We're live right now. Yes, we are. We are. Look at that. Rock and roll. I can't wait to get a better wireless mic so I can do voice effects and have all kinds of fun stuff. We got Ty Guy here in the first one. Did I see Tech Talk? Yes, you did. We got a little surprise today. All right. Let's see. Is the butler? Can somebody summon the butler to see if the butler's in the house? Can somebody find the butler? So we have a new addition today. This is my old hat.
Red Bimmer said the butler is here.
Why does the butler sound so funny?
Red
have
Cactus
to fix that.
said hey Fry.
No, that's not the regular butler. We got a problem here. Who did y'all bring over? All right, we got to fix this. We can't have this at all. Where is Bob? Somebody, where is Bob? Somebody call Bob for me, please. Where's Bob? Yeah, we can't have this. We can't have this at all. I gotta call Bob. Where's my phone? Let me grab my phone real quick. Let's see, which one do we want? We'll just call him on the Nextel. We'll call him on the Nextel. Number is there. We're gonna get Bob on the phone. Hey Bob, where you at? Yeah, I'm live. Who is that guy that was sitting in for you? Cletus? All right, yeah. So I'm live, man. So can you step it up a notch? All right. You're out back. You're in the guest house. All right. Well, yeah, I'm live, man. So if you can read the chat, yeah, just use your laptop, whatever. All right, later. We got Bob. Bob's going to be on duty. We got Natasha Maeve. We got Ty Guy. We got Danny. Let's see who else we got in the chat here. We got flowers on our back. We got some surprises today. We're going to have a little tech talk. Let's see, we got Red Cactus,
Natasha
Wendy.
Maeve said fire that weirdo butler please. His voice is creeping me out.
Yeah.
We don't need us some Cletus.
Yeah, well, Cletus is still here and that's really kind of pissing me off. But we'll figure out what happened to him. He should be here any minute now.
Donald Trump 2025 said I wish Fry would stop pooping in my mailbox. Natasha Maeve said I'm digging the hat.
Cool. So yeah, Natasha Maeve, check it out.
Red Bimmer said Bob is here.
Bob is here, so check it out, Natasha. You like that? And then Zed, you know all about that. So yeah, we got a combination hat going on here. All right, well, let's get to what we got going on here. Enough of the fun. All right, we can't be fun, right? It's Friday. It's a fun Friday. Let's have some camera fails. We need the birds. Where are the birds? I just didn't do any show prep. Actually, I've been doing nothing but show prep, and I'm tangenting on other things. So let's get the birds talking to us. There we go. Let's visit the birds real quick and then we'll get to some food and tech talk. Let's go see how the birds are doing. It's a little windy. As you can see, I set the pole right there yesterday and I'll be showing footage of that one of these days. I'll probably premiere that video. I still need to set the camera and my goal is to have the camera a lot more stable than it is right now.
Red Cactus said focus. No tangetting. Lol.
No tan getting. We're not getting tan.
Natasha Maeve said that is so cute. I was wondering what you had on the back of that hat. Smiling face with hearts.
Yeah, Natasha, that's the custom emoji. You probably know exactly where that came from. All right, rock and roll. What are we doing? We're gonna make this right here. We're gonna make instant karma. Actually, we're gonna make something that I don't eat much because of the mercury exposure that you might get from it. I'm not saying it has it in there. I'd have no way of testing it to prove or disprove that. I just know that tuna is high in mercury. The smaller the fish, the less mercury. So we're going to make some tuna, and then we're going to have a little tech talk, because this morning we had some tech talk in Red Cactus's channel, and I want to settle this whole thing about smartphones. And just to let you know, I have a little bit of experience in smartphones and phones. When I owned my own business, I had an $800 Nextel bill with phones. And you can see I have a little bit of a phone action here. These are all some of the phones I just found. I probably have 15 more around here that I could not find. But we got LGs, we got Samsungs, we got HTCs, we got you name it. We got Sprint, we have stuff with Microsoft OSs, and I have a little bit of experience with phones. This is one of my first phones. So anybody that's old enough to, we'll get to the tech talk here later. This is one of my favorite Samsung phones, by the way. But yeah, I have a little experience in phones and tablets. I know the lighting's bad over here, but I'll turn it on just for a second. Well, we'll get to that later. Let's get to the food. So first thing we need is a can opener and a bowl. We're gonna make some, let's see, where's the can opener? That wind is pretty rough out there. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to do some sound samples with that. Talking about tangenting. All right, please pay attention. All right, so we need a bowl. I know, I'm bad at tangenting. So we're gonna make sure there's no critters in this bowl. It's been sitting there for a while. So we're gonna make sure there's nothing in there. Looks good to me. So I'm missing one main ingredient that I use for this. I don't make it much, but when I do make it, it is really good. So I'm missing an apple. So I use a Granny Smith apple for this, and I'm missing that. And we also use avocado mayonnaise, obviously. And we're gonna obviously use the butter. No, we're not putting butter in this one. Today there's no butter. We're gonna put the old grass-fed cheese, all right? So this stuff here, we're gonna go over to the other side of the world here. We're gonna do this where we're not making a mess. And then we'll come back to the better lighting and situation. So you wanna take your hot rod can opener. And I use two varieties, and I'll show you that. Reason why I use two varieties, because it just adds flair. See, that's how you open a can right there. So you want to make sure when you open it, you leave it flare up on the edge. So it's all about timing at the end. So it's that little flare. Boom! You see how that pops up? That way you don't have to dig around in there. You know, you want to drain off all the water. The flare is kind of pointless sometimes. Not packed in olive oil, so it's packed in water, because olive oil sometimes goes rancid. You probably don't want that. So we're going to get that out of there. We just push to the side and that comes up. And I always like to twist these off before I start shaking them around so you don't accidentally cut yourself. So just a little bit of a safety tip there. Am I on the right camera? Yeah. Just making sure I'm not having a camera fail. So the types of tuna that I use is this. And y'all can read that.
Zed's Place. Said flare is pointless on tuna cans.
Flare is pointless? Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about phones. Let's do some multitasking real quick. So the reason why I only have one smartphone that is Apple, it's a lot to do with their technology and their philosophy. Apple's philosophy is they always add things last to do it better, but they never get it right. So Apple's always the last one to add a feature on a phone. And if it's not really a phone anymore, they're supercomputers is what they are. So when you
Natasha Maeve. Said it's windy there today, eh? Mike's picking it up. Just letting you know.
Let's see, it's windy today. Mike's picking it up. Yep. So I can turn down the bird cam if you want to hear less of the wind. So just let me know. All right, so we just got our 2 cans of tuna, different type. We're gonna put a little black pepper in there. And I'll get back to the phones here in a little bit. We got a little black pepper. We got a little cayenne. We're gonna put a little cayenne in there. Give it a little bit of hit. A little bit more for me because I like it hot. And because I didn't do any show prep, we're gonna use sea salt. Let's talk about salt. Somebody left a comment about why don't I use kosher salt? Well, kosher salt, that's not a type of salt. Kosher basically means correct salt for the certain faith, a religious thing. It's a religious thing. So there's no such thing as kosher salt.
Natasha Maeve. Said it personally doesn't bother me. I wasn't sure where it was coming from. No worries, smiley face. You're loud and clear.
Awesome. Yeah, I turned up my mic a little bit today because I noticed it was a little bit low sometimes. This is the cleanest salt you can find. All right. Sea salt has microplastics in it. All sea salt does for the most part. You might be able to find some that's tested with lower microplastics. This has got the lowest amount of microplastics in it. And what do I mean by microplastics? Because the ocean's so polluted with people throwing trash and plastic. We live in a plastic world that when they dry the water, the microplastics in the water still get into the plastic. Is that a big deal? That's why I usually stick with this for the most part. And I know you just saw me put the other salt in there, but that's the cleanest sea salt I could find. But this actually has been tested to have no microplastics. Even the Celtic sea salt has microplastics in it, but not as much. So Himalayan, the pink salt, is the safest salt that you want to use. The reason why people use kosher salt doing dry brines on steaks is because it's easier to pick up, and that's basically it. There's really no difference in taste between regular salt and kosher salt. The kosher salt's got bigger grains, and it's easier to pick up for them to throw on a steak, and that's good for a dry brine. So don't make it too difficult. We're forgetting one important thing here now. So we are missing one ingredient. We're missing the Granny Smith, but we're going to add pickles, obviously. So we got that. Now let's put in our grated cheese. So yeah, salt is very beneficial for the body. So you definitely want to get the proper salt in your body. Table salt is not that clean. So you want to kind of check that out too. Just do your own research. Just go to YouTube and put in what's the difference between kosher salt and sea salt, and that'll push the search algorithm to the point to where you'll find exactly the answers to your question. But kosher salt is technically not as clean as the Himalayan pink salt that I use. So that's why I don't really use kosher salt. We'll have a little bit of cheese in there. Remember, this was 2 cans of tuna, so we're putting a little bit more than we would. As far as the cheese, we're going to put the grater back up there. So where was I on smartphones? Let's see, now let's add our pickles. I like to add the pickles in there before the mayonnaise, just to let some of the pickle juice soak in there a little bit. And remember, these pickles are as clean as I could find without making them myself. They have no preservatives, no food coloring. Let's go get us a happy little spoon, a silver spoon. Alright, so we're going to put, I think what we're going to do is cut some of these pickles up. So we're going to go ahead and let some of this juice, we get to use the cutting board today. This does make a difference. You don't really need to add sea salt to this, I just do it for the minerals. Table salt is basically 2 things. Sodium and chloride, basically it's salt. Himalayan sea salt it's probably got 80 something minerals in it. So that's the reason why I use the Himalayan. How many pickles do we want? We're going to use a different cutting board today. I don't want this pickle juice soaking into my bamboo cutting board. So we're going to get out our old cutting board. When you're cutting wet things, probably don't want to use bamboo. So let's go over here and do the right thing. So we're going to have this board with pickle juice on it. We're just going to stab some pickles. How many do we want? If we had apples, if I had 1 Granny Smith apple, it would make this a lot better. We're going to do it heavy on the pickle side right now because I need to eat some more of these pickles. There we go. So we're going to cut these hot rods up. You want them pretty small. Everybody's pretty quiet today in the chat room. Remember, I'm not reading the chat currently, so if you want my butler to read the chat, you have to do what Natasha
Anita
and Red...
McGrone said hum pickles.
Yum pickles? Or hum pickles, I'll have to read. See, the butler is really having a problem with English. It's not his native language. He's from the UK, but you would think he'd know English a little bit better. Maybe it's his accent that's screwing him up. But I don't think he was originally from the UK. That's the problem, but he picked up the accent pretty well. That's chopped up pretty good. Then we're going to put these happy little things right in. Right there. Being careful not to scrape off any plastic in our food, because this is some kind of plastic. That's why I don't like using this, but I only use it for stuff like that, those applications. I just don't want any plastics in my food more than it's already there. Alright, so now we put in our avocado mayonnaise. Now you can do heavy or light. This stuff is pretty expensive, so it's like 8 something a jar. That's about all I'm going to put in there. Maybe a little bit more. Now the only other thing you can add, if you want to step it up a notch, we can go into our happy little spice cabinet that needs to have LED lights in it or some kind of backlighting or something. So this is a herb spice. This is a Bragg herb spice. It's got all kinds of goodies in it. There's probably some nutritional value in here. Maybe it'll help kill parasites, but everything in here is completely natural. And the last time I checked, there's not any
MC Cal CM said, it's the magnesium in the salt that helps pull water into the cells for true hydration.
Yes, it is. Yep, exactly. So to get properly hydrated, you need to have salt in your body. Your kidneys will regulate the salt, and if you have weak, here's my only suggestion. Not a doctor, but if you have kidney issues, you need to cut down on your salt because your kidneys can't do the job, because it does put a little bit of, it puts your kidneys to work is what it does. So if you
Anita McGrone said dill is great with tuna fish.
Yes, it is. So this was the two main ingredients here, the pickles and that. And just imagine us putting an apple in there, Granny Smith. I really do like the apple. It's not the same without it. You don't want to put a sweet apple in there, just the Granny Smith. You want a sour
Red
apple,
Bim
not a sweet.
said I have paid about $12 for that brand of mayonnaise. I like the Chipotle lime version.
Yeah, that brand is 8 something at our store. So we're just going to mix this up here. Just a little bit, not too much. And if you're wondering what this is an antique Amorphia solar panel. I got 2 of these from a friend of mine years ago, and they were retired when he got them. So Amorphia solar panels are very... Alright, we're going to have to tone down... Yeah, that wind is nuts. Look at this. We're going to have to simmer down on that. But I'm going to rig up some type of wind filter on the bird cam as well.
Natasha Maeve said, does that mayonnaise have soybean oil in it? What are
God,
the
no.
ingredients?
Are you kidding me? Natasha, come on. I'll show you the ingredients. You should know me better than that. Come on. All right. All right, come on, camera. Don't fail me now. So I'm going to try to get it in focus where you can read it and I'll read it along with you. It's got avocado oil, organic eggs, organic egg yolk, and there's no yolk there, not yolking around. And there's organic vinegar, sea salt, and organic rosemary extract. I'm not sure what the rosemary extract is in there for, other than maybe a preservative. But no, I don't eat any seed oils at all, 0. So no seed oils for me. Seed oils are one of the worst things you could ever put in your body. Seed oils are the devil. All of them. And when I say seed oils, everything down here is basically red tag. I don't eat that stuff. It was not, I did not buy this stuff, but I'm keeping it just to show people what you should never put in your body. This is a perfect example of a seed oil that you never want to eat. They produce this stuff, just do your own research. They use hexane to separate stuff, and they bleach it, and they use these things to get the stinky odor out. And yeah, this is toxic waste. Never use any of this. I use this to start the wood stove every now and then. When the wood is wet, that's my starter. But that's it. I would never put that in my body. Another example of seed oils is what Natasha was saying with the soybean oil. No, I don't want man boobs.
Natasha Maeve said, lol, I just wanted to see your reaction.
You got it. You got the reaction right there. Yeah, you got the reaction. So, yeah, I kind of figured you might have been messing with me, but I didn't know. So, that is our happy, and see, I like my tuna fish chilled. So we're gonna go put it in the deep freeze.
Wendy
Step it up a
McLean
notch.
said, I like cooking with coconut oil.
Yes, I have coconut oil too, and I buy the nice stuff. Coconut oil is actually good for a lot of things other than cooking. But this is a family-friendly cooking show. So we'll just have to read between the lines there.
MC Cal CM said, snake oil is more than just a conspiracy theory.
Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff out there. You know, the word conspiracy theory, I think, was put into the vernacular of people's
Natasha
brains.
Maeve said, you know how I am with my health and how clean I am with food, lol. Red Cactus said no mention of those other things, Fry LMAO.
Yeah, we won't be talking about the coconut oil. But yeah, coconut oil is magical. So that's basically what we're missing here is the Granny Smith. We're gonna go put this in the deep freeze because I like to eat this chilled, and we're putting it in the deep freeze just to get it colder quicker.
Red Bimmer said, how long ago did you stop eating seed oils?
Officially, I could stop eating seed oils whenever I was not in a relationship with the previous person that was here, because we would go visit her mom and we would have to eat sometimes.
Dimbula Bladeworks said conspiracy theory was first published during the US Civil War.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was DARPA that introduced that, isn't it? To stop people from talking about things or make them look crazy whenever they did. So they just labeled everybody conspiracy theorist. A conspiracy
MC Cal CM said, yes, 1964, it was directed terminology by the CIA.
Yeah, see, it was something like that. You know, I forget all
Natasha
this
Maeve
stuff.
said Fry is one of the only people who actually listened to my health advice and quit sugar and coffee. Usually people reject it.
Yep, and here's my coffee. It's up here, so can we have let me show you how I operate. So I have this stuff in my house. This takes a lot of willpower. And actually, I bought this coffee. I ordered some for a special person that was going to come and visit me, and then I got addicted to it. You might know who that person is. So anyway, if I do drink coffee, it's this. This is the cleanest stuff that I could find, and it's got mushrooms and all kinds of other fancy stuff in there, whatever. This is, I don't really care for it. I tried it because a friend of mine had said something about it. I got all kinds of coffee. And then, you know, you got this type of coffee here. This is supposed to be organic coffee. This is decent stuff. And that's tons of coffee beans. So when I did drink coffee, it was the cleanest stuff I could find for the most part. I'm not sure about the cleanliness of this brand, but I really didn't care for it. A friend of mine recommended it, and I think it's some of the worst coffee I've ever had, actually. So the best tasting coffee was this right here. It's got a blend of all kinds of stuff with mushrooms. But the coffee was jacking me up. The caffeine was really messing with me. I got it out of my life. No more tachycardia for the most part. It's all gone. Let's see, what other kind of stuff do I have up here for coffee? That's about it. So yeah, I still have coffee in the house, and that was one of the hardest things to stop, was the coffee. Oh, that was a major camera fail. Next time somebody say something. So anyway, we're gonna go back. This is the coffee. That was a major camera fail, sorry about that. So this, Rudamaya, I used to drink this a lot. Organic, this is coffee beans. It's a ton of coffee there. This is the coffee.
Natasha Maeve said almost 4 years now, no sugar. It gets better and better every year. Only organic food too. Best thing I ever did for myself. Both make a huge difference. Wendy McLeod said mushroom coffee. Oh my, we would really be laughing our butts off on morning sunrise with Red Cactus. I have already laughed so much on there.
Yeah, it's not those kind of shrooms. Who said that? Wendy? Anyway, yeah, it's not that kind of shrooms. I don't do those kind of shrooms either anymore. Yeah. So anyway, that's the coffee I used to drink, and if you are still a coffee drinker, I can recommend this, some of the best. It's got what does it have in there? For coffee, if you can't stop drinking coffee, this is my favorite coffee right here. It's got organic coffee, organic lion's mane extract, organic chaga extract, and it says wild crafted, whatever that means. I'm gonna have to look into that. But this stuff right here, Natasha actually turned me on to this coffee, actually. I ordered this for her. So, but you know, she stopped drinking coffee, so that was kind of pointless, right? and she lives in a whole different country. So yeah, that was all kind of a big fail. And this coffee here, a friend of mine suggested before I stopped drinking coffee, and I gave it a big thumbs down. You might like it, I really don't care for it. Once you've had this, you can't go back. Once you've had this coffee right here, I'm telling you, this is the good stuff for me. And I drink coffee straight black. Just put anything in it. And I don't eat any sugar at all other than what's in honey and the, sorry about the camera, what's in honey. I do get some sugar there, obviously, and pineapples, some frozen pineapples and blueberries, and I'll have strawberries every now and then. So, no sugar at all. I've been probably sugar-free, completely any added sugar for over a year now. I can't keep track of time, but it's been at least a year.
Red Cactus said you get fry attention by putting both of those symbols in front of fry. No spaces.
Yes.
Gerald said quit coffee. Are you sick?
Am I sick? No, but coffee was making me sick. Alright, so let's talk about smartphones for a little bit. We're just going to grab a few of these. And the reason why I have all these here, just to kind of show you, I do have a little bit of experience with smartphones and phones. I couldn't find my brick phone, my Motorola 8000H, but I found pretty close to it. This was an NEC. That's up after the brick phones, obviously, but these were all analog cell networks. We're gonna grab a Motorola, an LG, and the old Samsung, and maybe an old Windows. So here's the reason why. Oh, let's go grab the Apple, and I want to show you what Apple did. So here's an Apple phone. Oh, we gotta grab one more thing. This is why cell phone technology and electric car technology is never going to work right until they figure this out. We're going to just grab a few batteries and show you what goes on with these batteries. So here's the biggest problem with everything that runs on battery technology.
Natasha Maeve said coffee was the last part of my healing journey. I drank 4 Sigmatic for my last year. I quit all caffeine tea and cacao included. Gerald said my blood pH isn't right until I've had the first cup.
Right. Now, I cannot say that I'm completely caffeine free like Natasha. I just
Mark Muller said you're making me hungry, buddy. Slightly smiling face.
That's the whole point.
MC Cal CM said I miss replacement batteries.
Yep. I'll get to the batteries in a second. So I do put this in a my dandelion tea and stuff like that, and I put it in these desserts I'm making. But this is the only caffeine that I'm getting, but it's not Nestle, it's the cleanest cacao powder that I could find. So that, and there's not much caffeine in cacao, but there is some. And it doesn't jack me up. I don't get any jitters, it doesn't keep me awake. I don't have the shakes, I don't feel disjointed like when I drink coffee. I would feel disjointed, and it was just, I don't like to feel altered anymore at all. The cleaner that you get, when you clean up your food intake, sugar and everything, you don't want to alter your state of mind anymore. It's really weird how that works. Alright, so this is the problem with smartphones all across the board now. This smartphone, this one, I used to buy only smartphones, so the Motorola, even this one, you could change the batteries in, okay? So you could swap the batteries and change them in these, all right? These are all Android devices. Well, iPhones, you can't do that. And look at this phone right here. The battery has swollen in this, so this is a iPhone 6. And look at the battery, it's swollen, is popping off. And my microphone's glitching, I see that. The screen is popping off right there. You see the screen popping off? You see that? That big seam? This is an iPhone. You can't replace the battery in any of these. And it was the last phone to have a headphone jack. So Apple you're paying for the name. Now, if you have an Apple, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, stick with Apple. If you have Apple like their music and all that stuff, and you have the Apple devices hooked up to your TV, stick with the iPhone. You're going to have the best experience. Where Apple shines is they have one set of hardware written to one set of software, and they put that out every year, and they don't have to write to 1,000 different devices. That's the positive of Apple. The negative of Apple, you pay too much and you don't get any features. They're always the last one to add a feature, and when they add it, they have restrictions. So when you see Apple and iPhone, just think control, control, control. And I do my best to eliminate things and people in my life that say no to me, and that's a control mechanism. When somebody's saying, nope, you can't do that, they're controlling you. So yeah, we could probably pop this screen right off here because the battery is swelling.
Gerald
this thing won't even boot.
Said need to be taken out to pasture and put out of my misery if coffee disappeared.
Hey, I felt the same way, Gerald. I'm not joking. That was the hardest thing for me to quit. I quit 5 things at once. I stopped all sugar. I stopped all wheat. I don't eat any wheat, any dairy except for grass-fed cheese and butter. I stopped mineral water just because it was pointless and expensive, and it was wasting jars or bottles, and a couple of other things. I didn't eat pizza anymore, all that stuff. I stopped like 5 things. It's gone. See, my microphone's glitching. I can't wait to get a wireless mic. Let's think, the one I want's 300 something bucks. It's just not gonna happen right now. So, yes, coffee is addictive. So, all these other phones right here besides the iPhone, you can replace the batteries in. Now the newer ones you can't, even on the Androids. Everybody's getting away from that. So Apple shines with, the apps crash a little bit less sometimes, but that's not the case anymore. So the Android ecosystem has matured to the point to where there's not any problems with their apps crashing like they used to have. But see, here's the thing. Android phone, Android, and Windows phone. All these different phones that I'm showing you here, when you write code to an app for these phones, hey, that one's on. Oh, we don't want that. That's where it introduces bugs and lagging because they have to write bloated code. Okay. So, yeah, what is this thing playing? Oh, it's playing the radio station. That's funny. Oh, here's another thing. Android phones have FM tuners built into them when they have headphone jacks. iPhones don't have FM tuners built into them. So you get so many features. This is my favorite smartphone. I told you we're going to do Tech Talk. So Natasha, your song drops at 3 o'clock. So let's check and see. I want to make sure I'm not going to be overstepping Natasha's premiere. Let's see. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do that. So how much longer do we have? Pull this up. We got 22 minutes. Well, I'm going to have to step it up a notch. 22 minutes before Natasha's song drops. So we're going to put the link in the chat to your premiere there, and then I'll get back to phones. So let me put the link in the chat. Copy, paste. Let's go back to the chat. Right here. This is where we're headed after the stream here. This is Natasha Maeve's new
MC
song.
Cal CM said, "Dot isn't T 90% of an iPhone's guts produced by Samsung."
That's another thing. This phone right here is an iPhone. Okay. This screen was made by Samsung because Samsung makes the best screens. Now, do they still make, the Samsung still make screens and most of the components for an iPhone? I don't know. I kind of quit keeping up with that once I found a phone that I liked.
Natasha Maeve said, "I can always move the Premiere up. Just let me know if you need more time."
No, I don't need more time. No, because I got somebody showing up at 3 anyway to give me a good friend of mine, you know who you are, is dropping off I just got to put some RAM in it and a SSD and an operating system. But he's giving me a 7th gen 7700K with NVIDIA 1060 or something video card, I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm going to replace the Generation 3 streaming PC up here with the 7th gen. This is an 11-year-old system, and right now it is really struggling, because if we come over here and look, see that CPU usage? That's way too much. Nothing else without this thing starting to lag. So in the coming weeks, I should be able to move into the new system. It's going to take me a while.
Said you were getting a new computer. Yes.
Yes, and it's not a new, but it's going to be, I'm going to have to put RAM in it. So I got to buy RAM, I got to put a hard drive in it, I got to put a Windows 10 license, which is about 20 bucks. So I'm going to probably chunk about 50 to 100 bucks into it, but let's hope it's going to be stable. So anyway, back to smartphones. This is my favorite smartphone.
MC Cal CM said, like Idiocracy, upgrade.
Upgrade. Yep, upgrade. If you haven't watched Idiocracy, that is a recommended movie to watch. You'll see the world is actually like that now. I'm not going to do a spoiler alert on that movie. But here's why I love this LG Volt. This was the best phone ever made, and that's coming from somebody that's owned all these phones, okay, at one time or another. And some of them were given to me that were not my daily drivers. But see that? Okay? This is the best out of all of them when it comes to feature set. Okay? I'm talking a feature set. It has an infrared built into it, so it had a built-in remote control. So that little hole right there, you could go to a restaurant. Back in the day I used to do this, when I used to eat restaurant food, and I don't anymore. And you could pull up the remote app. And right in here, there's a remote app somewhere. This has been a while. And let's find, come on, I gotta show you this. Step it up a notch. How many screens do we have here? Oh, there we go, quick remote. Boom. So you could go to any restaurant and put in the remote type. And right now, I guess the last time I was controlling a Vizio TV. And you could turn the volume up, you could change it, do everything. And you could have different profiles. So you could have restaurant, you could have bedroom, whatever profile you want, den, and office. And obviously I only had one profile, which was the living room. So you could actually use this as a remote control anywhere you went. And it had the codes built in. Alright, so that's a feature that you don't see in anything anymore, is an IR blaster. So it has remote control capabilities.
Wendy McLean said you could also control the jukeboxes at the bars with your phone. Red
yeah, that's
River
probably...
said I had a wristwatch with infrared for controlling televisions a long time ago.
Yep. Yep. And this thing also has an FM tuner. It has a removable battery. And then the notifications down here will change color. So it'd be green, red. So this little button right down here, depending on what kind of notification you had, would change different colors, and it would just light up and, you know, it would pulse. This thing right here was the best phone ever made. Now, this was an LG Volt back in the day. Now look at this. Who copied who here? This is the iPhone S with no feature set compared to this at all. This phone can still get on the internet and do things, even though it's got an old operating system. This one, obviously, the battery is swelling up. And this one is way older than this one, okay? This is an iPhone in the right. Won't turn on because the battery's swollen and bad. This is an LG Volt with the original battery. And I have, how many of these that can still boot? 1, 2, 3, 4. And you ask why I bought so many. Because I used them for different things. I had one for talking. I used other ones for webcams and all kinds of other stuff. One of them for a radio, because they were so cheap back then. You could get these things for like 55 bucks to 70 bucks back in the day. All right, and I'm not joking. 55 or 70 bucks is what I pay for these. So, and they were unlocked. They weren't married to a carrier most of the time. So that's why iPhones, I don't like them. They don't last long. They don't have operating system updates like you do with Android. And here's a point that I'm going to prove. How many minutes do we have? So let's check here. I'm going to put Natasha's link in the chat again. So everybody, stop what you're doing. We're going to go raid her channel pretty soon. You should probably go ahead and go over there and leave a comment on her premiere. You can go ahead and get in her chat room and leave a comment. We got 15 minutes. We got plenty of time. All right, so here's what I want to talk about now. The best phone to buy 2 or 3 years ago is this phone right here. And I can say that with a fact because I know about phones and I've done a ton of research and I've had a ton of phones. This is a, make sure I'm not pulling up any personal information there. Glad I did that. All right, so this is the best bang for your buck phone that you can buy. Samsung A series phones, A51s and the A71 series back in the, 2 years ago. Anything with the A51 spec and above, you can't go wrong. This has got 4 gigs of RAM. I can't remember, 128 gigs of storage or 256. Here's my point. This is an unlocked phone. I paid $250 for it. It has 2 SIM cards. I can have it on 2 different cell networks. And here's my point about the whole thing. Check this out. Now we're going to need our little Instant Karma friend here to help us out with this because we don't want to show any personal information. So we're going to do this. And we're going to go over here real quick. We're going to go About Phone. There we go. So About Phone. We're going to do Software Info. Now this is something you don't get with most phones right there. I want you to see that. Android 13. When I bought this thing about 3 years ago, I think it was running Android 10 or 9. I can't remember. I think it was 10. I've had at least three operating system and security updates constantly. So I've got the March security update. I've got the update to the latest version of Android that's really popular for the most part. And I got Samsung's 5.0 UI on a $250 phone. Okay? And it's still getting software updates. It's still not e-waste. All these over here are e-waste, even though they're Androids, because they're too slow and they're not getting updates. So iPhone likes to create e-waste. Okay? Samsung is doing their best now to not create e-waste with their phones. Look at that. Android 13. This thing is still snappy. It doesn't really get any better than this. And this thing has an FM tuner. The only downfall of this phone is it doesn't have a replaceable battery. Okay, they stopped doing that. It still has a headphone jack. It still has a USB-C charging port. It's got microphone arrays. And here's the point. This thing's got 5 cameras on the back. So, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got 4 on the back and 1 on the front. Okay. This thing,
Red Bimmer said they make more money that way.
Obviously, this is an iPhone. 1 camera. Garbage. This thing probably cost $800 or more, brand new. I have no idea at this point. This thing brand new, $250. This thing right here is light years ahead as far as technology than this one. So that's my point. iPhones are always behind the times, and there's always less features, and they're taking out all the jacks. You get more feature set, you pay less, and these things last longer, and you can run a lot more apps on these phones than you can this. You can sideload apps a lot easier on an Android phone than you can an iPhone.
Chris Oldham said, I think I got a phone, Woody, haha.
Haha. So anyway, there's a little bit of phone tech, and the battery technology is still a big fail. But look at this. This is an older battery, and it didn't swell. I think that battery came out of this phone. I can't remember. This is one of the oldest that we're looking at here. But look at that. They had it right back then. But these are newer batteries that swell. and the devices are rendered useless, especially if they're stuck in the phone. So on a phone like this where you can't replace the battery, an iPhone, yep, iPhone, please pay attention. Stop creating e-waste. This is e-waste, okay? This is, you know, make a phone that lasts a lifetime. You should only have to buy one phone, maybe replace a part every now and then, like a vehicle, and you can keep your phone. Make the phone where you can replace the battery, or stop having it where the batteries swell. One or the other, but this is basically a junk phone now. But I keep it as an example to show people. Look at all these batteries. Even the Samsung batteries were swelling. I don't know if you can see that. It's swollen. Motorola, swollen battery. LG, that's
Mark
the battery.
Mullo said, I appreciate the cooking and tech talk. Thank you kindly.
You got it. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm kind of start mixing it up a little bit. I'm going to also feature on my next Tech Talk how to have a little bit of backup power in your house. Lost. So anyway, this is going to be the next thing that I'm going to talk about tech-wise, because a lot of people are asking me about solar power and how can I get started. This is the best way to get started. It's portable. It's $230 delivered to your door. 600 watt inverter. Yeah, we'll get to that on another stream. Anybody ever use one of these? Oh, here's a funny little story.
MC Cal CM said, technical chef Eri.
Here's another little fun story about phones. I'll get out of the way. So, anybody in the chat that's ever used one of these phones, type 1 in the chat. Alright, I want to see how many people have used a rotary phone. And they used it all the time. And then I got a story about this. Natasha's song drops in 8 minutes. So we got some time yet. I got plenty of time. 1, Red Cactus. Y'all are all old. Kelly, Red, MC Calcium. You just called yourself out. You're old. Actually, time is just an illusion. You're not old. You just been here a little bit longer. All right. So here's the thing. When I grew up, we didn't even have private party phone lines. So we had something called a party line at our house. So when the phone rang, it was like 2 longs and a short, a long and 2 shorts, whatever it was. I can't remember. So you had to wait for it to ring completely one time, to go through a cycle before you pick up the phone, because if it was not your ring, it was the neighbor's phone that they were calling. So if it was the neighbor's phone, you don't pick it up. Well, being a young, curious little boy at the time when I was a kid, and I was always into tech, like, you know, there's got to be a way to listen into these phone conversations without getting busted. So here's what I came up with. You spin it around like this, and it doesn't release the receiver. Like that. So you still haven't, they still don't know that there's anybody there. And then you do this. Once you unscrew the microphone and take out the microphone, which is completely replaceable, then you could pick this thing up and they wouldn't know that you were there because the microphone's gone. And you could listen all day and it wouldn't lower their volume. But if you would lift it up with the microphone in there, they could obviously hear you, but it also lowered the volume on their side because it takes power to run this microphone, more power to run the mic than it did to run the speaker. Because remember, when you opened up the phone, it would lower the volume to them a little bit if the microphone was on. So there's a little tech tip for anybody that wants to do any phone tapping. And I also would do it like this too. I would keep it loose, so you could just do it like this, and you could just spin it off down there like that, and it would just drop out. So you could do it both ways. Just you got to pre-loosen it a little bit. So yeah, I knew exactly what was going on in the neighborhood.
MC Cal CM
as a child.
Said I was today years old when I learned this. Jeezies.
Yeah, I was I was today years old when I learned this. Oh, really? You just learned this? Or I thought you said you were 8 years old. Yeah, so I used to be the neighborhood information person. I could tell you who was cheating on who was having an affair with who, because the party line that we shared, the two neighbors. So with the party line, you could only share three people could share a phone line. So the other two people that we shared phone lines with, one of the ladies was the county gossip lady. She knew everybody's business. So she was talking about everybody's personal life. So it was like I had my own entertainment when I was a kid just by listening to the phone conversations that I wasn't supposed to listen to. So yeah, it's been 7 years.
MC Cal CM said, "Lou, you're awesome, Fry."
So yeah, I knew a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been knowing about back in the day. All right, so how many minutes we got? We got 4 minutes before Natasha's. We got to ease out of the stream. So let's go look at our. Let's go grab our tuna fish real quick and see what we're working with. It's been chilled in the deep freeze. And that looks really good. So the fact that I don't eat bread anymore. All right, so that's cold glass on top of warm glass. So we're not going to do that. We don't want anything to crack. So if you still eat bread, which I don't, here's what I recommend as the least offender of gluten that I've found. So I used to back in the day. Not that these are bad. This is, no GMO, whole grain. This is probably the least offender if you want to eat bread that you could. This is a sourdough cracker. And I don't eat these anymore. I just keep these for an example. But they're actually really good. You can warm them up. You can toast them. Let's get one out of here and see what we're working with. But I used to eat this with my tuna. So I'm trying to get it out without cracking it. So this is what they look like. If you never had these, they are really a good snack.
Said I used to be able to listen to one side of analog cell phone calls on my handheld amateur radio.
Yep. Yes, sir. I did a little bit of something like that too back in the day. Just don't want to even talk about that. All right, so sourdough crackers. These are some of the cleanest I found. The ingredients are whole grain, rye flour, and yeast and salt. So this is the cleanest cracker that you can find. It's like a sourdough cracker. It is a sourdough cracker in a way, so that's it. So I would eat this with the sourdough cracker. I'd put the tuna on the sourdough cracker. It would be great. All right, we're easing out of the stream. Natasha's song is starting here pretty soon. I'm going to be over in her premiere. I'm going to have that up here. We're going to ease out here. And let's just put her up on the screen here. So I'll see you in Natasha's chat. Can all the mods or whoever post her link, I'll do it right there. This is Natasha Maeve. Her new song's dropping. You can see that there's 6 people waiting. There should be 32 people waiting, hopefully. I know a lot of people watch on TV, but I see there's 32 people still watching. So I'm hoping that there can
Natasha
be 32
Maeve
people.
Said, "Thank you, Fry. Great stream. Hope you like the song. See you soon."
Sounds good. Of course I'm going to love it. Every one of your songs are so different, Natasha. That's the coolest part. You got so much talent. All right, love you all. We're easing out of the stream. Natasha's song. Actually, I guess we could wait until the little thing starts doing the countdown. Yeah, so click on that link. I'm putting that link in. I'm heading over to Natasha's chat. I'm going to go over there and say hi to everybody right now. I'm going to say hi, all, just so you know I'm there. And I'm going to say love you all. All. I see Natasha's already in there. All right, so yeah. Natasha's there, Mark's there, Annie S, Aaron, Luke, Luke, I am your father. Ty Guy. We got Kelly. Kelly's crafting was not today. I'm generally after Kelly's crafting. I do a show after hers. She goes on at 1 Central Time, and then I usually jump on at 2 p.m. Central Time, right after Kelly's Crafting, but I think she's in Vegas or somewhere today. So she's, I don't know if she's going to be live streaming from there, but we did miss Kelly's Crafting today. Big shout out to Kelly's Crafting. Maybe somebody can put her link in the chat as well. All right, so I'm posting the link. We got how many people waiting over there? There's 8 people. We can do better than that. Come on. Show some love. Do it for me. Come on, everybody. We got Cindy over there. Andrew. Doggy. Says hi, Natasha. New sub from Cool. Oh, yeah. Don't forget to hit that bell. And make sure when you hit the bell on Natasha's channel, that's subscribing, make sure you hit that bell and make the bell turn white, which is selecting all. That way you know when she drops another song. She's been dropping new songs every Friday. The time changes all the time, but that's why you want to be notified. There we go. So how many seconds we got? We got 60 seconds before we're heading out. All right, we got 50 seconds, and I'm going to be stopping the stream right about now. So everybody, click that link right there in the chat, and I'll see you. We're going to be listening to Tasha's song off stream, so I'm stopping the stream right now. Adios.
Adios, mofo.
I love bugs. Bugs.
Later, everybody. See you over at Natasha's chat.
Tastes like